races should be treated equally, and there should be no preference given to one or the other. Now I'm in this absurd situation where I was born in South Africa but cannot get a license to operate in Starlink because I'm not black.
Well, it looks
Does
like
that
that's
seem
about.
right to you?
Looks
Does
like
that
that.
seem right to you?
Looks like that's about to change.
I just asked you a question. Please answer. Does that seem right to you?
Black economic empowerment was meant to fix South Africa. It was supposed to give black people economic freedom after centuries of being excluded from land, jobs, and ownership. But somewhere along the way, it became something else. Instead of uplifting the majority, it created millionaires with political connections, entrepreneurs who hijack public money, and in some cases, people willing to delete other individuals when tenders don't go their way. But here's the complex part. Even with all its failures, we still need affirmative action in this country. We just don't need this version of it. In today's video, I'm going to break down what BEE actually is, why it exists, and how it got corrupted, why political killings and entrepreneurship are part of this story. And yes, I'm also going to talk about the DA's new bill to replace the BEE. So what is BEE? This is a policy which is put in place to increase economic participation of black South Africans, particularly to readdress the economic inequality created by apartheid. So this black economic empowerment policy sets a number of rules which companies have to abide by. These are rules around ownership and procurement. This policy is and has been criticized by many. A lot of people have described it as a race law. People like Elon Musk, who struggled to get his company Starlink to operate in South Africa, has publicly said that this is a law which discriminates against white people. Some people even went further to say that there is reverse apartheid in South Africa because you have policies like BEE which discriminates against a certain race or against white people, to be specific. I think I'll make a separate video on that, on this concept of reverse apartheid. The people making the argument that this policy is discriminatory in nature are absolutely correct. Having said that, South African law differentiates between discrimination and unfair discrimination. One act which gives clear definitions of this is the Employment Equity Act. I'm gonna read certain parts of the act for you. So what is discrimination according to this act? Discrimination occurs when an employer treats a person differently based on physical attributes or other factors such as religion or political belief. The act of treating employees differently may be justified in some circumstances. It's not unfair discrimination to take affirmative action measures consistent with the purpose of Employment Equity Act. Let's leave the second point about the inherent requirement of a job and focus on the part about affirmative action. We all know that apartheid was basically a bunch of policies which were used to discriminate against a certain group. Because of policies like the Bantu Education Law, which was designed to give black South Africans poor education, we still have a lot of South Africans today who are uneducated. Many people today do not have economic mobility because they are uneducated. They were raised in homes where, because apartheid didn't end a long time ago. So you have people that are raised in homes where education is not really encouraged because the parents were forced to go through that system of Bantu education. So they do not see the value of education themselves. Again, this speaks to how much such policies have led to lack of economic mobility for many black South Africans. So affirmative measures to readdress the past unfair discrimination are permitted. The bottom line is BEE is legally framed as corrective readdress, not arbitrary race law. But of course, legality doesn't equal positive outcome. As I've already explained, the BEE is more of an affirmative action, which affirmative action simply means proactive policies to correct historical exclusion and enable representation. A lot of people who are against affirmative action normally bring up this thingy of merit-based system. So they believe that whatever happened in the past is in the past. So we should just move on, like every individual has equal opportunity to participate in the economy. So they argue that meritocracy is the way to go. Let's even forget the fact that apartheid didn't happen a long time ago. Most of us, our parents, not our great-grandparents, are the ones who were forcefully removed from their homes. Again, these same people were denied quality education. So most of them are uneducated, not because they are lazy, but because they were denied education. I don't think many people grasp the implications of such in the long term. So the starting line is not even. And meritocracy only works when the starting line is level. If you remove targeted redress before fixing the base, the same privileged groups keep winning the merit. So to me, the idea behind a policy like BEE makes logical sense. However, this promise of economic inclusion went wrong. Many BEE benefits have been concentrated amongst well-connected individuals. The benefits are not widely distributed. So there's no use of having something which only benefits a small minority when the whole point was to uplift the majority. So these BEE-linked deals became channels for corruption, procurement, and overpricing as well. We now even have documented cases and investigative reporting linking procurements of corruption to threats and assassinations of whistleblowers, people who conduct investigations against this corruption face threats on a daily basis. Some are even deleted. We saw this in the Tembisa Hospital corruption scandal, the Transnet and procurement investigations, and there are many other cases where this violence keeps repeating because people are trying to protect their tenders. So the DA has gazetted a bill which is called the Economic Inclusion for All Bill. This bill proposes to shift procurement and inclusion from race-based preferences to poverty needs-based targeting. And I think this sounds great because targeting poverty can include historically disadvantaged poor people of all races and could be more politically inclusive. However, the problem is one of context. The DA's all-inclusive framing sounds like a dismissal of racial history that produced the poverty we have today. This is what I mean. Remember in the USA, at some point there was this Black Lives Matter movement. Not sure whether or not it's still active. This movement was a result of police brutality and other injustices against black people in the USA. But critics used the All Lives Matter slogan to deflect from the focused corrective demands of Black Lives Matter. And here's the thing, it's absolutely correct. All lives matter. But that slogan ignored the specific context of disproportionate harm. The effect was to silence the problem rather than address it. We have the same risk here. Help all poor people sounds fair. Until you realize that poverty in South Africa is heavily racialized because of apartheid. Dropping the race lens too quickly can let structural racism persist. I don't want this video to be too long, so I think I'm gonna end it here. Please remember to share your thoughts in the comments. Come closer. People have a goal. We're trying to get to 1K subscriptions before the end of this year. So if you haven't subscribed, please make sure that you do so and leave a like and a comment. I enjoy engaging with you guys in the comment section. And yeah, see you on the next one.